Welcome everybody to a brand new TLF. Tier List Fridays. We're recording this on Thursday live on stream, but you know you're seeing this on YouTube on Friday because it is Friday in our heads. And we're looking today at healers in 9.2. Well, speculating at least, and looking at the data, and looking at what Theory Crafters wrote, looking at the tier sets, and making some connections. But the healer meta is changing based on what we know so far. So without further ado, we shall go into it. I'm sorry, Flame, do you say something about the intro?
I'm not saying anything, man, because I've said enough for like 2 weeks straight, and now people can see that your mug is back on the video. So
fuck yeah, baby.
You have the range right in our head and our hearts. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Living with that Friday mentality, baby.
Well, let's look at the Discipline Priest. So first off, let's check the tier sets. Yeah. I have it here somewhere. This should be the tier set bonus. We're gonna drag it over here, guys, so you can see it as well in case you've missed it. There's a post written by Anshlun. This is for Holy and Discipline. Discipline, basically, casting Power Word Shield or Shadow Mend has a 15% chance to make your next cast of Shadow Mend have no cost or cast time. Now, this on paper is...
It does sound amazing initially.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. There is kind of like an annoying issue with it, and that is it kind of works against, let's say, for instance, Rapture, since sometimes with Rapture you just want to spam those shields, so you're probably going to get proc. I think can it stack? I think it can... No, this doesn't stack. No,
just
so the
uptime for attunement will go up and up.
So during Rapture, you're going to lose a potential procs of the two-piece, as well as during Innervate windows, because normally you would get Innervates if you had like a Druid in your team. As a healer in general, you would eventually get Innervates, especially during ramps when you're going to be wasting a lot of mana, aka spamming a lot of shields and putting atonements on a lot of people to ramp up and then do the damage. You're going to waste the effect of it being free.
The two-piece kind of like enables that more ease of spot healing when freeing up and making instant shadow mends. That sounded really cool on paper, but in terms of like interacting with Rapture periods, because you're giving examples like from the raid, right? But when it comes to Mythic Plus, and sometimes you are required to like spot heal in that scenario, like I don't know, well, some situation where your tank like gets really low, and at some point you cannot. As a Discipline Priest, we all know it tends to become hectic in Mythic Plus when you have to like heal everybody, and that attunement damage is not enough, so you're gonna have to spam Shadow Mends. Yeah, I think they trying to just address that with the two-piece bonus, but the fact that it kind of fucks up with the Rapture window, for example, it's iffy. Maybe they can rework it in that place, but it's not as bad. I mean, in terms of like placing and ranking Discipline based on this.
Maybe instead they could add something like it refunds mana when it comes to the mana cost. That would both solve the Innervate. Okay, so once again, the two-piece makes whenever you cast Power Word Shield or Shadow Mend, you get a 15% chance to make your next Shadow Mend free of mana cost and instant cast.
Yeah.
The main issue is that the mana cost thing contracts the Innervate windows that you would normally get as a healer if you're, ramping up. That's what would normally happen.
In raids,
and during Rapture, you're not gonna cast a single mend.
Yeah, this is the thing, because in Rapture you're gonna spam those shields. You are going to get a lot of those instant Shadow Mends, but you're constantly wanting to spam those shields, right? Because it's a Rapture window.
Personally, I feel like Discipline is close as you could get to S tier. I'm not 100% sure if it's S tier because we haven't looked at all of them.
I would have put it
S tier. We can put it into A tier. I have a feeling that it might change by the end because
everything might change by the end. By the way,
no, by the end of the stream. I mean, because we have to look at the others as well. Seeing as how Holy Paladin, as to nobody's surprise right now, has been nerfed, the main damage reduction that healers would be bringing to a raid was probably going to be supplemented by Discipline way more than it has been before. I'm thinking, Dome, all of the absorption shields that you have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Pain suppression, stuff like that. I mean, Holy Paladin has damage reduction as well, but Discipline Priest might be doing it better than Holy Paladin. Yeah. So
it's like the bread and butter of the kit.
And also, sir, we actually haven't looked at the double legendaries discussion. It seems like Kyrian might be the overall best covenant.
No shit.
Automatic Jack already did some theory crafting and discussion upon the Spheres of Harmony and Clarity of Mind for raiding, I believe, right? This is for, the Sepulchre.
Yeah.
And for M+, Twins of the Sun Priestess is probably going to be better. It's nice to have some variety and actually feel pretty good about this, but this actually makes me feel better about putting into a potentially S tier when it comes to...
It could be S tier. We'll see at the end, but
I have
for
a few,
now,
yeah.
For now, this is just because we know what happened to Holy Paladin, and we can get into it. Because Holy Paladin has been reigning supreme for a long ass time.
Speaking
and,
of,
yeah, it's next on the list, right?
Holy Paladin has been nerfed, right? Let's actually go through the nerfs because this is actually more important than the tier set, rather. So basically, the damage of Judgment, Hammer of Wrath, Holy Shock, Ashen Hollow, and Hollowed Discernment has been reduced by 12%. Ashen Hollow healing is nerfed by 15%, which, I mean, this is... Ashen Hollow is a very, very strong healing cooldown.
And damage cooldown.
Obviously enables DPS, but if you remember when we were progressing Guardian, Painsmith as well, whenever the boys had Ashen Hollow, it is like, okay, all healers do damage, you don't need to heal anything, right?
I noticed that.
That's cool. I mean,
sure,
it's cool. It's on a 4-minute. It's not like you can always do this, but it kind of put like, okay, put Ashen Hollow down, half of the healers don't need to do damage, fine. But if nobody needs to do damage, nobody needs to do healing because you can cover every healing needs with Ashen Hollow, maybe that was a little bit much. Holy Shock is still doing the same amount of healing. Avenging Wrath, though, has received a big nerf from its 20% damage healing and crit to from
it was
30.
30% and then now it's 20%. Yeah. But the base kit of the healing was increased by 6%. But when you draw the line, it's like, and also we didn't talk about the tier set.
This is no, but okay, this is good. Well, whether or not the numbers are enough, the main idea is that Holy Paladin, as with Ventir Boomi, it's getting a lot of its power from external sources like the Covenant ability, the Legendary, and so on. And it's actually good to see like its base kit being better, so that you're less reliant on, on Ashen Hollow, on Legendary.
It's a good premise to go forward.
Yeah, it's the numbers remains to be seen, but the thought and the design aspect of it, I think it's good.
Definitely. Now, in terms of like the tier set, let's take a look. So, casting World of Glory causes your next Light of Dawn to heal for 50% more and cast twice. Cannot occur more often than once per 30 seconds. And 4-piece, each target hit by Light of Dawn has a 100% chance to reduce motherfucking microphone to reduce the remaining cooldown over Avenging Wrath by 2 seconds.
The 4-piece, the 4 set has been nerfed to 50% chance instead of 100% chance. So if you hit 2 people, you still get 2 cooldowns off of Avenging Wrath. So
but the argument still stands. It will still be wonky in dungeons and as well. Now in terms of like how it's performing currently, there's no surprise. We've seen it in the logs and stuff. This Holy Paladin is kind of king wherever you would look, but with the amount of nerfing, and I saw on the Hammer of Wrath Discord a little graph that would show the performance of the healers. That's from Lilith? Yeah, that's from Lilith. They're not looking too good. I mean, is the graph made purely for healing? I think it's purely for healing.
It's probably healing throughput,
yeah.
but
So
also
throughput,
DPS has been severely.
Yeah, that was what I was going with it. So healing has been significantly hit. Like it's basically from the early testing numbers, basically the last one on the healing roster in terms of like healing throughput. Add that to the fact that the damage was also nerfed. It's not looking too good for Holy Paladins. I mean, it's good. You're still gonna get like more Avenging Wrath, let's say, and this is another thing that makes me go to the idea that they really want to have the kit work better than the external. Avenging Wrath is part of the core of the Holy Paladin, right? Having the base kit also be increased is really good, but as it stands currently, compared to all of the other healing specs in 9.2, throughput is basically the worst. Now, this doesn't mean that it will be unplayable, right?
Well, the thing is, Holy Shock hasn't been nerfed. We had one here that talked about its nerf. Yeah. So Holy Shock is still unnerfed in terms of its healing. So the raw throughput there, and it actually has been buffed by the 6% aura that it's received. So, and I'm expecting Kirin Holy Paladin to be really good, but I feel so right now. I would have normally put Holy Paladin into S tier. I think it's a B tier.
Yeah, for sure.
I would put it into B tier just because I feel like there has to be a difference between Discipline and Holy Paladin. Discipline hasn't been hit as much by the nerfs, and at least in terms of raids, they were kind of like always equal. Obviously, Holy Paladin did a little bit more damage, but you would have wanted Discipline as well. I feel like what Holy Paladin could bring to a raid can be brought better by Discipline this time around. We did talk about the Kirin can potentially being good, but it looks like from the double legendary analysis, Venthyr might still be better. Although I did play with Marad's Dying Breath, and let me tell you, this is actually a really cool legendary in terms of playstyle, because you don't usually use Light of Dawn that much. But with this is really, really cool.
Yeah, Necro is also looking.
Necro. That's actually my pet peeve. I don't like Necro for Paladin.
You don't like the Vanquishing Hammer, man? It's so boring, right? So generic.
It's very bland. It's very boring.
Okay, let's move along.
We're gonna be moving.
Holy Priest.
Oh, Priest. Okay, we have to take this one. One at a time.
Yeah. This is. I was a little bit like baffled with all the things that came to Holy Priest, to be honest.
So tell the people what changed for Holy Priest, man.
Well, I think everybody can see it from here. So Holy Priest got kind of buffed. I honestly didn't believe that this would happen like in this capacity, but holy shit, like healing. So all the healing kit got increased by 10%, and also their damage got increased by 15%. Which is kind of huge, because I remember when we did like previous TLFs on healers, a lot of Holy Priest mains were actually, talking about that Holy can do some serious damage. Now, obviously not compared to Holy Paladin or whatever, but still, in terms of like when you look at the actual logs and performance currently, only based on damage, yes, Holy Priest was the lowest performance out of them all. But this 15% might just bump it up. This is
damage points we can look at quickly.
Just pure damage.
Damage.
Let's see, because I remember they were like really. Where is it?
Let's see. So it's close.
It's very close to the bottom
as you could probably get.
Exactly.
And in terms of healing, though, it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't. I mean, sure, it was in the middle, but yeah, increases. I'm thinking maybe they want to shuffle a little bit the meta and maybe get that throughput going more, the damage going more, and maybe get some more Holy Priests on the meta rather than Discipline.
I mean, the thing is, there's like two types of healers. When you think of a healer that you want to bring, you either think of a pure throughput healer or a utility healer. If it has both, then you get something like Holy Paladins, right? Because you had utility, you could consider damage being a utility because you go through phases quicker, you save cooldowns, you end the fight faster. Plus, it has actual utility as well with freedom and all of that, bubbles and immunes and good stuff.
Yep.
Which, for instance, for Mythic Guardian is a thing that you could do. But you had also throughput healers like Holy Priest, Mistweavers, and potentially Resto Druids as well, that, sometimes were kind of a little bit put to the side.
Yeah, at least the 9.1 definitely were more put to the side than the heavy hitters in terms of damage healers, like Holy Paladin, this Priest, and I would say Resto Shaman to an extent as well.
Basically, your Holy Words begin Divine Conversation, which this is a little bit weird. Increasing the cooldown reduction of your next Holy Word affecting spell. So, when you have what is it?
New flash heal.
Flash heal. I always call it flash of light. I don't know why.
That reduces the words. Yeah.
Yeah, and the big holy words reduce the salvation cooldown as well. It's more effective, and the 4-piece, I think it just increases the healing by 60%. Increase the effectiveness of your holy word affecting spell by 60%.
So only holy words.
So increasing the healing, I think, by 60% of the spell that's supposed to reduce the cooldown of your holy word. Is it complicated? I don't know.
I tell you, man, when I tried Holy Priest and I see the amount of fucking buttons over there, it's like, what is this?
A lot of buttons, dude. So the healing aura is increased from 5% to 16%. So basically, that's
holy moly!
An 11%.
A lot of throughput, man.
Damage aura from it already had a 25% damage aura to 44. Okay.
The Guardian Spirit. Okay, Symbol of Hope reduced from 5 minutes to 3 minutes, and channel time reduced as well. Serenity mana cost decreased from 4% to 2.5. So this is good changes all around, man. Shit.
Yeah,
Sanctify buffs also reduced to 2.5 base mana. from getting the impression that the set is actually pretty good. And
Yeah.
especially now that there's not many bugs with it. Basically, we'll have to see how much requirement you'll have in 9.2 to perform as a DPS rather than throughput. But if we judge simply by throughput, Holy Priest is looking a lot stronger. And
I'm thinking B tier still because it was kind of low. I think
all the time we ranked it either C or D. So if it's gonna be ranked somewhere B for sure for now. Just because I still don't believe Discipline will be shafted in favor of Holy Priest. Discipline will still be able to provide, but they could nerf it to the ground, but they still had that amazing damage prevention, right? Which is always much more. It's just Discipline, man. This is how it is. It cannot be fucked with.
I mean, it's really good if you ever need raw throughput, or if you don't want to play Discipline, you're gonna have a much better time at playing Holy. And I mean, always found the Holy Words mechanic to be incredibly interesting, and playing on them is cool. I do kind of like the systems where you think about the button that you have to press. So it looks like from the thoughts on the bonuses, it might not matter as long as you just reduce the cooldown properly.
I will say this on every spec ranking: these things are still in development, and testing is still going on, and feedback is still getting put in, so we might see changes even. But overall, Holy Priest is looking a lot better for 9.2 than it was up until this point. This is why in basically oral tier lists we've seen Holy in C and D based on data and all of that. This time around, it does look that it will be on par, if not better, at some point. We'll have to see, than Holy Paladin, which is a big, I would say, turnaround, having Holy Paladin on its head.
Yeah, pretty much.
We'll see.
Now we have to move to Mistweaver Monk, and
the love Mistweaver has seen, man. Oh shit.
Okay, well, first of all, let's actually look at the changes to the tier set. So basically, the tier set, you have Grandiose Font. Essence Font's residual healing effect is increased by 5% and lasts an additional 2 seconds. I feel like this interacts with did it interact with Ancient Teachings of the Monastery? The fact that it lasts 2 more seconds is also really good because it procs your mastery, right?
Yep.
The Essence Font procs your mastery, and I think Kyrian Monk had like a really big buff to mastery when you have Weapons of Order activated. I'm not sure how this will all interact, but it just sounds like a fat load of throughput, man. Okay, and we have the 4-piece.
It's drinking Thunder Focus Tea summons a progenitor rune of healing, increasing all healing dealt while inside. It's bound by, well, it used to be 130.
I don't know what that means. What is?
I don't know what the
is
fuck
that like?
It means it looks like a lot more than it used to be.
That cannot be 450%, right? That doesn't sound right.
I don't think so. No, it's the number the aura is being attributed to. So no, it's not percent.
Right now, Mistweaver seems to have the most amount of throughput, and also with the tuning for the tier set, we have some thought process from Anomaly as well. Basically, the updated 5% extra increase healing to the Essence fonts,
along with leaving 2-second duration increase in its place. The bonus to the hot healing of Essence font, while nice, does almost nothing to increase the overall power of the spell. The majority of the power comes from the initial bolt hit and not from the hot. Increasing this by 5% will generally be unnoticed. Okay, so while it does make the 2-piece somewhat stronger, it won't change how you utilize this as once you get it. Just enjoy 5% more healing. So again, throughput. It's still throughput, right? And as you mentioned, it won't be felt as wow, this is the big change. But we are talking about a healer that is delivering traditionally one of the biggest throughputs in the game. So if you already have, I don't know, let's say the damage department covered, and you really need that big ass heal, then you have it. Like Mistweaver will be the answer to it. It's hard to say, like in terms of like utility, there's always gonna be good because Ring of Peace and all of that.
Especially in dungeons, revival is still a big fat.
Yeah, very good clear of baddies, especially in Shadowlands.
And also like they buffed it in 9.1 to do like massive amounts of healing, and obviously that's gonna translate into 9.2 as well. it's weird to rank Mistweaver because it's definitely having more throughput than pretty much all of these three specs. Doesn't have much utility though. Necrolord being buffed can see maybe potential more damage as well with the Bone Dust Brew, although you're probably not going to be using it for damage, I don't think.
This is what I said. It's a hard decision to make because of it. I think like purely based on the buffs, it deserves at least a B tier.
Let's put it in front of Paladin, maybe.
I think so. This is another thing. Holy priests and Mistweaver monks were essentially kind of like always at the bottom of the list, right? Now, looking at it from all of these buffs they're receiving, especially for the throughput, right? They could be bumped up. Once again, if we don't necessarily know 100% how the raid will work in terms of like how much damage would you need or how much utility will be required. But in terms of like Mythic Plus, we kind of know that, you know, if you contribute to that damage, it's fine. And Holy Priest got the buffs to its damage, and Mistweaver monks can deliver damage as well. Not to the extent of a Venthyr Holy Paladin, but then again, Venthyr Holy Paladins will be nerfed a lot. Okay, so throughput might actually be a bigger, I would say, factor in deciding on who you're going to get into the groups, Mythic Plus or raids. This is why.
To be fair, as much as I actually kind of like being able to deal damage as a healer, that's something that I actually enjoy doing. I'm curious to see how a meta would look where throughput healers would be needed.
Moving along to Resto Druid.
There's a couple of things that I would like to look into now.
Look into it, Flame. Look into it.
So overall, the changes for Resto Druids, there's been a lot. Life Bloom has been buffed quite significantly, I feel.
Ooh, mamacita!
Its scaling with spell power has been buffed by about 30% of your spell power is added more on top of its healing when it comes to the hot, and when it expires you are bloomed healed for 23% more of your spell power, which is like, it's really good because, okay, let's take this into perspective, and we haven't done this for the other healers as well, but I think Resto Druid is more specific in this case. We can take a look at what that means for Life Bloom, right? Let's take a look at Sylvanas. We can take a look at rankings and pick a Resto Druid that's been focused on healing as much as possible. Ninjuristic, I know it's in Pump's Guild. And he helped us with the guide, I recall, in BFA for Resto Druid as well.
Yeah, cool dude.
Like a really, really good Resto Druid, maybe one of the best in the whole wide world. Life Bloom, it's kind of hard to see. So Life Bloom has 648 HPS. If we look at Life Bloom, does it say how much of it is the pump? So basically adding, and this is just raids, right? In dungeons, Life Bloom is probably going to be a bigger part of your overall kit.
For sure.
Right now, it's about 37% of your overall healing, but it's mostly to do with the tank, right? Because it's being used specifically on a tank. If we click on this, can we see exactly? So it was mostly used on the specific Brewmaster tank. And it healed for 552 HPS. That's a lot for a single target healing that you just put and it does its thing.
Yeah, you just have to manage more or less, and that's it.
So you could say that the overall amount might be up by about, what is it? Maybe 20%, 30%, which is big for one specific heal. And if we take this into perspective with dungeons as well, and we look at Life Bloom is almost twice your overall kit. 7.43% of your healing as opposed to 4% that you would have in a raid. And obviously this fully goes on the tank pretty much all the time, and this adds even more healing as well. So I feel like this change is really good. Then you have Tranquility. What was the change? Heals all allies within 40 yards for over 8 seconds. Each heal heals a target for another, blah, blah, blah. Is this a tooltip adjustment?
No, it looks like it. I mean, I don't see any cuts or greens over there, so...
And what's cool is they also changed talents. Germination also adds 2 seconds extra to Rejuvenation's duration.
And it's increased, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And Inner Peace reduces the cooldown of Trank by 60 seconds. That's what was baseline. God damn it. Can we?
No, fuck it, because then you're gonna fuck up the sound. Leave it like this. Leave it like this. I'm gonna just...
You can come over a little bit closer here and just look through this side. So 10% to all healing increase, 15% to Life Bloom heal over time, and 20% to the Life Bloom. So, okay, so I was kind of like close with my estimation. Germination now adds 2 seconds. Okay, still unlikely to be good. Oh, really? So they don't think that the Germination change would be good enough? The DR knockback immunity, Spring Blossoms better in most cases, but situational good. Okay, so Inner Peace can be a situational good spell. 9.6% increase to most damage sources. Okay, we've missed this one.
Hey!
And 11% to Sunfire. So Druid might be back on the menu with dealing some decent damage.
But that sounds like owl weaving rather than cat weaving. Still good
it's
though.
all sources.
No, I'm reading. I'm more into the 4th set because when I first saw it, and I was always like, God damn, this pretty good. And apparently, yeah, this.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Volk is also on the same page. It will definitely pop, but again, it will pop up in the throughput department, no doubt. And I feel like it's one of those bonuses that is like purely fun. Like again, when you know some things are going to proc for you, not proc, but you can plan for shit like that to happen. It's really, really awesome. And we missed the damage buffs, but if all the healers, so what was Holy Priest damage buff overall? 15%?
Kinda.
Yeah, Druids are looking like somewhere at around 11%.
I think that all of the numbers are supposed to put them kind of on an even playing field. At least the healers that don't transfer healing from damage.
Looking good.
But in terms of throughput, like Resto Druid was already pretty high on top. So with all of this, it's probably very close to Mistweaver. Man, are we gonna have like all healers in the same tier? Everybody being.
I think this is the thing, right? This is one of their main goals, is to try to line up all of these specs to be somewhat similar in what they can do numbers wise, but have them differentiate in terms of like utility and different group buffs and stuff like that.
Well, we can also look at the double legendary and see what the lads have to say about it.
I keep forgetting about the double legendary.
Yeah, it's Night Fae. I mean, I'm
still a Night Fae.
Convoke
is baby. Come on, it's babe. Come on, you cannot.
I'm a Convoke boy. It's fine. So rejuvenation healing has a 2.5 chance to create a new rejuvenation on a new target. Wait a minute, isn't this gonna work really well with the tier set?
This is
so healing from rejuvenation has a 2.5 chance to grant. Okay, so that's gonna grant even more.
That's good synergy.
So that is probably gonna make wild growth seem really good, because you're gonna have more spreads of the little 8-second hot thingy.
I think this is the first. Actually, the first tier set that I see so really synergize with the legendaries and all of that. If it goes live like this, I can definitely see Resto's really pumping up a notch. Maybe even an A tier.
Well, with a flat, so basically what Jada has to say is that with a flat healing and damage buff, a killer double legendary combination and an array that plays into a lot of our healing strengths, expect a strong showing from Restoration, Druid, and Sepulchre.
Oh, that too. See,
that's actually pretty big to say. And when it comes to Mythic Plus, Necrolord is gonna be the thing, guys. By the way, which actually it's not looking too bad. And once again, it's gonna be Cat. By the way, I would expect if you play Draught of Deep Focus, that's gonna be better for Rip than it is for the Moonkin buffs.
Could be, definitely could be.
So you're going to be. I'm seeing. Oh my god! If this returns Resto Druid to the BFA playstyle, that's gonna be so cool. You fucking Sunfire. You basically put Hots on everybody. Sunfire the pack, insta Cat form, and just put Rake and Rip on everybody. Wait, is this for single target? Moonfire rejuvenation active on a single target. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is just for boss. Okay, this one effect
still really good, man. You have
that's usually on boss fights is when you have the most time to do damage anyway.
Exactement.
And either enough to is either enough to dethrone the stagnant Holy Paladin Mythic Plus meta? Unlikely, but don't sleep on Restoration Druid Mythic Plus.
Yeah, I'm calling it. Put it in A tier.
A tier. All right. I was
it is time for Resto Druids, baby, to be in A tier.
All right. It's all pitchforks in the comments.
It's time. Looking very, very good. Again, I saw like all of the synergies and stuff. It's amazing, and all of the buffs they're receiving, plus the damage ones. It's definitely at least an A tier. Now, things might change. Once again, this is all based on what's happening currently on the PTR, but we're likely to see once the meta rolls in and the season started. Now, and the last one on the list, Resto Shaman. Wasn't this like the main contender for Holy Paladin, or am I mistaken?
This is looking to be, it's likely that this might be S tier, but let's actually take a look at everything that we can find on the spec. So the tier set has been reworked, and right now you're, now actually I'm kind of excited because I love...
You're excited?
I love this playstyle.
Show your excitement face.
Your critical healing increases the critical chance of your next chain heal by 2%, stacking up to 50 times. I assume this is consumed once you crit with Chain Heal, which okay.
And
That's the kind of like the Fire Mage Bad Luck Protection Firestarter talent.
Okay.
Whenever you don't crit with a spell, you gain this type
Yeah.
that increases your crit.
You
So-
like that? You played it.
No, I meant no.
You like what is the excitement face?
No, but I meant as in bringing Chain Heal back into the playstyle.
I mean that sounds
'Cause-
good. Bringing it
'cause,
back, bring back the chain heal.
Healing Tide was one of my favorite talents. So your Chain Heal critical hits reduce the remaining cooldown of one of your totems.
By two.
Initially was Spirit Link totem, which I believe it would have been so overpowered.
Oh my god, yeah, that looked
But
broken as fuck.
it feels like it's gonna pick a random totem that's on cooldown. So I don't know if you might purposely keep Healing Stream Totem. I haven't read what Niseko has to say about it, but I would imagine that you would want to keep Healing Stream Totem as being the least impactful one to potentially reduce the cooldown of stuff like hopefully Spirit Link Totem. And whenever you use one of those totems, they also cast a Chain Heal.
Again, chain heal.
And this M plus rating, no, this is full raid PV.
Raid and Mythic Plus.
All right, so let's see exactly what Niseko has to say. I mean, we're not going to read all of it, but we can read the conclusions. So if you decide to set it already plays and feels a lot better than the old iteration. Oh, because you did have initially Chain Heal. Yeah, there was an old iteration. That doesn't really matter anymore because it has changed. You get incentivized to press Chain Heal, but aren't forced to, as you can use the 2-set buff with the 4-set by dropping totems as well. It's less optimal, but you still get a decent bit of healing. The current implementation on PTR strongly suggests that it's not finished yet. Okay, so they haven't been able to fully test it.
Yep.
However, we'll have to see how the set changes in the future builds. Okay, so because also the first impressions are actually from the 27th of December.
It's all on you, man.
I believe Resto Shaman could be a potential contender for S tier. It's already S tier in M+. Now it's close. It's probably like A tier-ish right now in raids. Plus, its utility is not getting affected. It's not receiving any nerfs as opposed to Holy Paladin receiving a lot of nerfs, which was one of its biggest contenders. And the utility of Resto Shaman is still pretty good. It seems like most of the things that are going to be received by Resto Shamans will be in relation to its utility, which is probably its biggest selling point as well. I mean, you know, those Spirit Links, pretty good. The Healing Tide Totem that covers like a big fat area is also really good.
S tier though.
S tier, I was hoping to see some.
I mean, isn't this a little bit biased, Flame?
I don't know, man. It could be wishful thinking. We do have to have an S tier spec, if anything. And Resto Shaman has been performing pretty well. If we look.
It's like what was the last?
Yeah, in terms of healing percentages, man. But I feel like in damage is gonna be higher. Wait, don't show me DPS, man. Show me healers.
Yeah,
Come on, Warcraft logs.
That's
fine. That's fine. I'm just looking at Resto Shamans with the highest amounts of keys. It's very hard to gauge because
but in terms of like number of keys, they did among the highest.
Yeah,
keys,
it's definitely the highest
groups.
keys, and usually in these keys you want the most on demand throughputs, the most on demand cooldowns, utility, and everything. So I feel like M+ is a good indicator of how good a Resto Shaman's kit is. Not to mention that it's still one of the healers that you're probably going to definitely see in every group, at least a competitive group, because Spirit Link is so good. You have all the mobility changes, and the throughput is also really good. I mean, look at our Resto Shamans, man.
This is what I'm saying. All of the throughputs. This will definitely be a meta where throughput healers might actually be preferred more than damage throughput healers. And just looking at how Holy Paladins were changed, Discipline Priests obviously they do damage, but we said it before, they are mainly taken for the damage prevention, which they're kind of like the best at it. And then you have all of these throughput specs, which are also buffed for their damage, right? So if you need that, you're kind of gonna get covered for all of the damage, regardless if it's Holy Priest, Resto Druid, or Mistweaver Monk, right? And I know Resto Shaman can do damage as well. Now,
it's probably one of the better ones right now, especially after the Holy Paladin nerfs. And because you can run the Earth Elemental Legendary, which is really good. The Earth Elemental is never going to pull aggro, for instance, in a raid.
That's very good in dungeons.
And in dungeons, I mean, if you have a really good tank, it's sometimes it just doesn't pull aggro unless you're like an Elemental Shaman with a Primal Elementalist. So I'm seeing a lot of comments in chat. The reason why Discipline is in front of Holy is basically on what we know so far. What we know so far is definitely incomplete, since Discipline Priest and Resto Shaman have received the least amounts of changes out of all of the healers so far that we could see, and some of the tier sets are essentially not properly testable. We're going basically on what their kit can do, what they have been doing so far, and what is likely to still be able to perform. For instance, when I'm thinking of like a top rating guild, I expect, although I might be wrong clearly, that they will have a Discipline Priest and a Resto Shaman in their group, specifically for the kit that they bring, not necessarily the throughput. They're not the best at throughput. Most likely the best at throughput will be Resto Druid and Mistweaver. If this was a pure throughput discussion, it would be that. And obviously it's not just for rating, it's also for Mythic Plus as well. And I am perfectly happy to be proven wrong, and it's gonna be fun to come back and look at this in about 2 months maybe, when the meta is established, to see exactly what's gonna perform.
It's gonna be fun to look back and see how wrong or right we were.
If you've missed this has been recorded on Twitch, where you will see the whole VOD. The YouTube version will be trimmed a little bit to not be like, you know, podcast level bullshit stuff. It's really fun to discuss this with chat and see your opinions as well, while actually doing kind of the research on a stream as well.
Yeah, on the fly.
So check twitch.tv/MarcelianOnline next time to actually be there when this happens. And in the meantime, we would definitely like to thank our Patreons!
Our Patreons who are supporting all of the content that we do, including this stream, which has been transformed into a proper official TLF on healers. Thank you guys for all of the support. It means the world. It keeps the boat rocking. Is that an expression? I don't know, but thank you. And if you wanted to join the Patreon team, just look at Flame's face.
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching the video, and catch you next time.
Bye!
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.